All right, this video is my second one I promised you on forms of the quadratic lab number 2. And I'm going to do a couple of the problems with you just to refresh your memory. Remember, we're using your memory. Just remember we're using two forms here. Y equals A, X minus box, X minus box. This is our zeros form or our roots. And we're using the vertex form Y equals A, X minus H squared plus K. All right, so I'm going to do probably a couple three, or we're going to do one of these big ones with you again. It says put the equation in vertex form by completing the square and sketch the graph. Now I've already done one of these for you, and you're going to find all this information. The first thing you're going to do is, I'm going to erase all these little dots that I have here, is I'm going to go through and put this in standard form. So I'm going to move this 6x over, negative 6 over, to make it positive 6x. So at 3x squared plus 6x minus 5. And then what I'm going to do here is, right off the bat, I told you could do the y-intercept because the y-intercept is 0 and a number. And if I go ahead and in the x spot right here and here, put zeros, I'd see that my y-intercept is 0, negative 5. So I'm really glad about that. So I'm actually going to put that on my graph right now. So I know 0, negative 5 is going to be there. Then the next thing I want you to do is to actually graph this. And we're going to set this up a nice table here. And I did this. So you're going to plug this in your calculator right here. So I'm going to bring it up. And when I did, I went from negative 10 to 10, negative 10 to 10. And then I went through to try to find the middle so I get the repeating here. And so I kept going. I could see it was like at negative 1. So I put negative 1, negative 8 in the middle. And you see how this is repeating? So this must be my vertex in the middle here. And then I put that in the middle of my table. So I'm going to come here and say in the middle, I have negative 1, whoops, try this again, negative 1, negative 8, and then I go back a couple, actually 3, and forward 3. And then I looked at my graph, and my table was negative 5 here, they repeat, and then I had a 4 here and a 4 here, and then when I plugged in the 2, it was 19 and 19. I'm not going to graph that last one, but I have plenty of points to graph now. So I'm going to come over here and graph. And I have negative 1, negative 8 right here. Whoops, all right, I'm over 1, sorry. Negative 1, negative 8 is right here. And then I have 0, negative 5, which I have there. And this is negative 2, negative 5. Then I have 1, 4. And then I have negative 3, 4. So it's kind of a skinny one. And 19's off my graph, so I'm just going to draw it like this. So I have a nice curved parabola. And this one I notice does cross the x-axis, but it doesn't look like it might be nice points, but that's okay. I don't need to have them be nice. Now, like I told you in the last one, in order to find the vertex, I already kind of know the vertex. We know the vertex is in the middle. We were able to do this, so it's negative 1, negative 8. And I told the kids in class that if you have like these two negative 5s next to each other, for instance, then you'd know the vertex in the middle. We're just lucky. And then I see the 0, negative 5, which is my y-intercept. So I already kind of know what my vertex is, and it makes me happy because that's what my y-intercept is. Now I'm going to go through and complete the square to find the vertex and axis of symmetry. So we're going to do this below. Again, you've done this many, many times, but we're going to justify what the calculator says with algebra. So I have 3x squared plus 6x minus 5. Then I'm going to factor out the 3 because I need to have just a 1 in front of the x squared. 6 divided by 3 is 2. Negative 5 divided by 3 is not even, so I'm going to leave it like that. So y equals 3. Do my big brackets because now I'm going to force the existence of a perfect square binomial. X, keep the sign, half the middle. Oh, that's nice. That's a nice one. Square whatever's here and subtract it and bring down my negative 5/3. So now I have y equals 3 bracket x plus 1 squared, and negative 1 minus 5/3 is negative, if you think of this, negative 3/3 minus 5/3 is negative 8/3, or you can put it in your calculator. Now I'm going to distribute to the 3. I have y equals 3 x plus 1 squared. Remember, you just put it in front, don't touch it. 3 times a negative 8/3 is a negative 8. So there's my vertex, -1, -8. And if I come up here, I'm like, yay, that's right. So I only put it here when I get it right. And my axis of symmetry is x equals -1. And I'm going to draw that on my graph as well. I'll just do a different color. So here's x equals -1, which that's where my vertex is, right here. So here's x equals -1. So I found the vertex axis of symmetry justified what it said there. Now the next thing I want to do is I actually want to find the zeros. So I have to take my formula that I had here, and I'm going to put it equal to 0. So I'm going to do this over here at the side. So I have y, well, we're going to make y 0. So we're going to put a 0 right here for y. So it's going to be 3x squared plus 6x minus 5 equals 0. Stack and rack a equals 3, b equals 6, c equals -5, d is b squared, 36, minus 4 times a times the -5. And this comes out to be a nice, beauteous number, 96. So I have x equals -b plus or minus the square root of 96 all over 2a, or 6. And then I have to simplify this. So when I put this in my calculator, so I want to show you guys this again because I think some of you don't know how to do this. So I'm going to go home and we're going to do calculate. So when you do this, you hit menu, you hit number, and then you hit factor, and I put a 96 in here because you want to simplify it, and then I hit enter. This tells you it's 2 to the 5th times 3. So when I come here, I said, okay, this is square root, so I'm going to do 2 squared times 2 squared times 3. So when I do that, the two 2's can come out, so I have x equals -6 plus or minus 2 times 2 is 4, okay? Oh, I forgot another 2, it's 2 to the 5th. So let me erase that, 2 to the 5th, so it's 2 squared times 2 squared times 2 times 3. So this is going to be 4 radical 6, because these 2 have to stay inside, all over 2a, which is 6. Then I can divide all the outsides by 2. So x equals -3 plus or minus 2 radical 6 all over 3. And that's all you can do to simplify that. So I'm going to come up here and put it right here. So x equals, whoops, come back up. Sorry about that, folks. X equals -3 plus or minus 2 radical 6 all over 3. Okay? Then I'm going to do 2 more just in case you have questions. If you think you've got it, I'm not going to do number 2 because it's very similar. I want you to practice that so you can do one on your own. I am going to get you started on 3 and 4 so you can do these. So this one here says find the possible quadratic with the following points. I have a vertex in this, so I'm going to use the vertex form because that's what they told me. So I've got x minus h squared plus k. First thing is I'm going to throw in the h and the k, and remember, that's what this is. It's going to change the sign. So I have y equals a, x minus 2/3 squared plus 1/3. So far, so good. And then I have to solve for a, and they gave us another point, 0, 1, which is my y-intercept. So in this spot, I'm going to put a 1. In my x spot, I'm going to put a 0. And I'm going to do what Mrs. Pond said, take my time. 0 minus 2/3 is a -2/3. And when I square that, that's 4/9. So what I want you to do right here is to actually put the 4/9 in front of the a so you don't make a mistake with the algebra. Now I'm going to subtract 1/3 from both sides. Okay, so when I subtract 1/3 from both sides, because this is what it is, so if this is 2/3 equals 4/9 times a. And then I know I can divide by 4/9, but I can also multiply by 9/4, the reciprocal, because that would make that a 1. And when I do that, 3 goes in there 3 times. You can do this all on your calculator, but I like doing this. So end up a comes out to be 3/2. But you could just do that, say 2/3 times 9/4, and it would come out to be 3/2. So y equals 3/2 x minus 2/3 squared plus 1/3. Now, if you're doing this on a quiz or a test and you want to make sure you're right, if you come, this is number 3, I graphed this one as well. So I'm going to come back to this right here, back to my recent. If I can get it to open back up for me. Right here. Well, I'm having a hard time with that, bringing it back up. Won't come back up for me. That's weird. Anyway, if you wanted to do that, what you could do is you could actually graph this and look at your table to see if you could see that information. All right. The next one I'm going to do is number 4. All right. Number 4, you have to know what you're looking at. And I look at this right here and I see they gave me 0, 5, which is my y-intercept, and number 0. And then they gave me -6, 0, and 2, 0. These are my x-intercepts, or my roots. So I'm going to use y equals a, x minus box, x minus box. Okay? And when I go to do this, I'm just going to throw the roots right in there. So I'm going to throw the -6 right here, which changes the sign. I'm going to throw the 2 right here. So I have y equals a, x plus 6 times x minus 2. Now I have one other point to throw in, xy. So I'm going to plug in the 5 for this. And for the x, I can put zeros, which makes this nice. So 6 times -2 is -12a. I just put it in front of the a. Divide by -12, a equals -5/12. And so this parabola is y equals -5/12, x plus 6, x minus 2. And again, you can always graph this to see if this works. And anytime during these videos, stop it and try it yourself to see if you know how to do this. So as you go along, there's more of these. Just go through and try and see. And I've got on here the answers. They're also on the solution key. So I just wanted you to know that they're all here, that you can make sure that you do them all as well. Okay? So that's the end of this video.